to discuss about patch-related reboots as such, Steve, one thing we need to be aware of is when that reboot is scheduled in relation to the installation time. So I'm going to stick myself up in the corner over here, and I'm going to come down to configuration. I'm going to go to patch management, and I'm going to use the patch setup wizard to create a new patching process. So anyone that's kind of new to End Central, you will run through the patch setup wizard to create your patch configuration rules, which you see available to you on your patch management homepage. You can see here we have a patch rule for servers, we have one for workstations, and we have an emergency patching rule there as well. So if I click on create new patch configuration, and I'm going to skip to the point here and get to the installation reboots, I'm just going to choose the profile that I've defined already. I'm going to skip past my detection pre-download window, and now I'm going to go to my installation window. So let's say we're installing patches on a custom schedule, which is 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So every Saturday morning at 2 a.m. we begin the installation of patches. So any patches that have been approved for install will start to install at that period of time. Now, depending on how up to date your devices are and how frequently they are patched, for example, once that installation window starts, it might take 10 minutes to finish, but in some cases, if there's a lot of patches, it could take 2, maybe 3 hours to complete as such. The only thing that can interrupt that installation status is a reboot. Now that reboot could be initiated by hand, by an end user or a new user on the device actually rebooting the device in the middle of an installation, or alternatively, it could be triggered by the reboot window as well. So if I have a situation here where the installation window is triggering at 2 a.m., but the reboot window triggers at 3 a.m., there could be a scenario where the installation hasn't finished and the reboot window triggers, for example. And if that reboot triggers, then it could mean that there is additional patches that haven't yet been installed as such. Alternatively, it could be a situation, Steve, where you don't have the reboot window trigger configured, or the reboot window is too close to the installation window. So what I would say, first of all, in terms of the devices requiring a reboot, review your patch configuration rules, check to see when the installation time is. Ensure, I would say, that there's at least a 2-hour gap before you trigger the reboot window, and make sure that's turned on as part of your process as well. And then that should start to clear up those reboots. Now, if we go up to our active issues tab here, and we start filtering on our active issues. So if we go to show filter here, for example, and if I just choose reboot, we can see what devices might require a reboot here. So we have several devices that require a reboot. These are all off at the moment in the lab environment. So you can obviously remediate this by doing a system reboot here. So I could select the devices that I want to reboot to clear these issues. From the add task, then I could run a script. And this will allow me to actually schedule the time that I want this reboot to take place. So the repository item we're going to choose is a system restart. Restart. I think I should have chosen an automation policy. I always get mixed up between the two. So I select the devices that I want to restart. Click on my add task, run an automation policy. And in here, you can choose system restart, if I could type properly, or system reboot. But I also have the ability then to schedule this to run at a certain period of time. So I mightn't want to run it now. I might say, look, I'm going to reboot your systems tonight at 5 p.m., for example. So I can choose once and choose today, and I can choose the hour of the day that I want to run this on. So if I want to pop in 1700 hours, for example, that will allow you to clear that as well. So there's a couple of things, Steve, without specifically seeing your environment, it's hard to kind of determine, but ensure that your reboot windows are configured on your devices. Ensure that they don't overlap with the installation window, and obviously, you can obviously clear up those those existing issues by using kind of automation to trigger the reboot, or schedule those reboots at a certain period of time as well.